So it is, I just want to make sure we have everybody in. There's nobody in the waiting room. Let me just see.
I did just get an email from Crystal saying she couldn't find it on the website, but I went to the website, it's there, and I just shared the link with her. So I don't know, but it was on
Um,
the.
okay, well, it is, let me get started here. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
It is 16:06 or 4:06 p.m. on Thursday, February 13th, 2025. This is the Board of Directors meeting for the Windham School District, and we'll call the meeting to order at 4:07. So first off, we'll start with public comment, but seeing that we do not have any members really from the public here yet, we can hold off on that to possibly a little bit afterwards if people join, like Crystal's able to join. Um, so moving on to correspondence, I did not have correspondence. Any of you guys have any correspondence that you felt was to be added? Okay. And then moving on to old business, approving the minutes. So Bob, when I went onto the website myself to try to view them, it was through different search engines, I got different stuff, which was just bizarre. So I was able to locate 2025 minutes in the 2024 folder. It doesn't look like we have a 2025 folder yet. And there's Crystal.
I'm actually on the website. I see a 2025 folder. You might have to scroll down in that box a little bit, and in that folder there is a minutes from 116.
Okay. And then, um, so I've reached out to Meredith and I copied the board in on that so that we could get a copy of that. I did see the January minutes and I also did see, I believe, the November minutes. Now, I don't know about the other board members, if you saw those, or we can get some of those approved that Meredith had completed.
I'm easy. I think I'm
So
easy.
I'll move to approve the 11/21/24 minutes submitted by Meredith Block and the
I just sent the link to the board email group with the 116 ones, but it is on the website.
okay, and I did see the 116 ones. I just didn't see um December's. And then yes. So, I definitely got November's. So 11/21/24, I moved for that to be approved.
Abby, what I see for December still is the one that Howie has submitted with that's still the
Yes, that's what I was seeing. And I'm not sure if maybe she just hasn't gotten to them. I know she's a very busy person with the minutes. So
yeah.
that's why November is what she had done.
Yeah.
Very low.
She said she was going to go back for you guys, right, and do those old ones. So
Yes,
it
yes.
does remind me though, when you get the recording link from BCTV with this recording, just make sure you forward it to her if she's
Yeah,
not
I
here.
believe she's been included with BCTV for when
Yeah.
that gets sent out. She's one of the first people that gets it.
Excellent.
So,
All right. Perfect.
and then even if she hasn't been for any reason, I think she's been getting it twice because I'm making sure I'm sending it to her. So,
Twice and never, right?
yes. So can I get a second for the motion for the minutes for November 21st, 2024?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, so November minutes have passed. Thank you, Meredith. So with the other minutes, I would just recommend that we get that taken care of. We may have potentially the need for a special meeting. I'm not sure why before town meeting day, but if that's the case, we would make sure to add that to the agenda at that time and get those approved. Because so if you guys can check those out and make sure those look good, and we'll get them approved.
I mean, did you guys, just on that note, did you guys do an informational meeting last year, pre-town meeting?
So when there's
Remember.
Australian ballot, you have the informational meetings. So we're a floor vote. So I'm not sure how that is going to, we're at the meeting, so we're going to be our articles
Everything
or
is
what
there,
our
right?
articles are, and
Yeah.
so until there's something else that the board does differently and changes, then that would be the process, is my understanding.
Gotcha.
So, approve financials. So this one's a doozy. And I do have some questions. So, but we do not seem to have Heidi. So I'm not sure if Bob, you have any ability to maybe answer some of these questions.
Let me pull it up and look at it, and let me see what I can find here. There was a second email, right? There was a.
Um,
I know I just saw it. Now I'm trying to remember what it.
yeah, there's quite a few. I guess for you, Bob, I know I've talked with you about this before, but I can start off with Granite. And do we really need to continue their services and, keeping up with them? This building is not a school building.
And that
They're
would
very
be
expensive.
that would be a question. I'm trying to remember which one Granite does. Are they doing the furnace?
Well, I believe it is.
Does it say?
Hold on, they've got pages. So, um, there's phone. So the phone 911 stuff, I think probably. And then what is all of this? So that's with Granite. I'm not sure if there is some connection with them that we have to keep for their services.
Well, I just texted the two of them, Greg and Heidi, to see if they can tell me what that's for. So we'll see if they respond in short order. But
Okay.
my sense is that any non-necessary things have already been shut down, but I could be wrong on that one. So we'll see what they say.
Okay. And then when it comes to tuitioning, I'm seeing a lot of assessments and tuition, and I would think that the assessments would be included with the tuition. So I'm not sure if we're getting how that's working.
No, the assessments, those will be SU assessments. Yeah, that's different than tuition. Tuition is going to be charged to wherever the kids are going. They don't doesn't I don't think it flows through the SU. I think it's a separate direct tuition payment to whatever district is the kids are going to. Does that make sense?
Not quite. Um, so aside from, we have a lot of tuition. So when people, the total amount that we are looking at for this pay order, if I didn't get my pages too messed up here. I had to print double-sided because it was so much.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
$201,100.25 total.
Yes. So,
I just can't see the particulars. All I see is the total.
okay, yes, so that is the total. And going through, so you have the Granite. And what is the contract with the solar company that because we're paying into Legacy Power,
Is
right?
that
So we have a portion of that we pay into?
was that the one in Newfane? Is that what you guys bought into back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
So how often is that, like, as far as future thinking with billing? I think we should definitely consider whether or not we're going to continue with Newfane, or if we would work with the town on the town building right next door
Yeah, I
with
think
their
we'd have
solar
to
panels.
we'd have to talk to Heidi about what the contract was when you guys signed it initially, what
Yeah.
the terms were. I don't know honestly what that's for.
Okay.
How you could have it possibly. I don't know that. Greg did respond to me though about Granite. He said that's the copper lines, phone lines that come into the building, and that is currently being used for your fire alarm.
Okay.
So those
So that's
cannot go
why we
away.
have them. We can't get rid of the fire.
Correct. We were gonna if we were gonna upgrade the firebox, you could end up going to cellular signal, and the town could do that at some point and get rid of the copper lines because they're a lot more expensive than having a
How much are
siphon.
they? Abby,
Abby has the total amount, but they're crazy expensive. The phone companies are charging extra now to maintain the copper lines because they didn't want to get rid of them all. But
How
Okay.
much is how much was that line item, Abby? I don't have it in front of me. I'm trying to call it up here.
For granite, oh
Yeah.
boy, I'm still flipping through here. Hold on, let me go backwards. So 195 for the phone. Um, well, I'm seeing the one for the phone, but I'm just saying over the course
Okay, I'm
of
saying
seeing the
why
granite, the invoices come in, we spend quite a significant amount of money.
we can get a cell phone line for $10 a month.
But you can't, but you have to upgrade the panel before you can do that because that panel can't take a cellular signal. So that's the problem. The panels are crazy expensive. Well,
Okay.
yours is not super big, so it wouldn't be as much, but like I think Newfane, they're redoing theirs this spring. I think it's like 75 grand or something like that.
And then there is about 22,700 something dollars that there's a lot of bill backs, and I'm not sure what that is. And again, then there's another 12 something plus for SU assessment $1,000.
I mean, your SU assessment, I don't know which one it is, but I mean, it could be for special education. It could be for
Well, it
my,
does break down, and it was confusing in direct and indirect services to students. So for under Windham, it looks as though general ID tech was removed.
yeah,
Our physical education was reallocated to River Valley
yeah, they took the
for
extra day that the teacher
$15,000.
used. Yep.
So, and we don't have a school, and the resident students was removed. If we could get some more clarification on these assessments, because we don't have a school and we're, like I said, we're paying the tuition. So,
Right. The special ed costs are above and beyond. If it's talking about direct services to kids, it's probably special education. But again, don't quote me on that. We'll have Heidi at the next one if you want, or you can put a list of questions to her in an email. I'm sure she'd be able to respond before the next meeting, if not, well, definitely by the next meeting, if not before. So,
yeah, I mean, there's that. Those are SU assessments, January bill back, which I have no idea what the bill backs are. And that's a lot of money.
yeah,
Not saying that it's not something, I just don't know what it is,
no,
right?
no, I hear you. I hear you. And your job is to be skeptical. So what I would say is that in the future, if you know that she's not able to come to the meeting, try to reach out with a phone call, one of you guys to her to maybe have to walk you through it over the phone so that then you could relay it. It's just
Yeah, we
outside
didn't
of
get
my
this till
scope.
like last night, and I hadn't get look chance to look at it till this afternoon. So this
Gotcha.
was at a
No, I
first
get it.
glance, just go and I'd ask her. But
Yeah, no, I get
um,
it.
so and just to have it on the meeting, so there was that, and what was my other? So the water testing, the backflow testing, it looks as though we have this payment for Green Mountain backflow testing, but then we're also it's annual backflow testing, and I'm confused on if it's quarterly, how this works, and why do we need to continue with the testing? Again, this isn't a school, so
Right. Well, I remember at the time that it's not just school, it's public use. I want to say that if you stop the testing, it put you into a different, you had to like start the process over again. So again, Greg would be the best person to be able to answer that question.
okay,
And we can have him at the next meeting to talk about that if you want.
okay. And then there was also there was a for the H2O guy, which is quarterly water testing. Again, so this is a different amount from the backflow testing and heating system, right? So it's Green Mountain backflow testing, and then we have the water testing. But the order date was back in June, and it looks as though, I don't just know if the invoice didn't come in until January, and we're getting this now, but I do have a concern, like if there's stuff.
That Greg is not going to know, but he can tell you what it's for, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I'll email this stuff to Heidi, and then there's another question of billing for the Department of Labor. And I don't know what that's about, but again, a couple $1,000s.
Labor.
Not
Vermont
sure.
Department of Labor?
From the Windham, for the Windham School District. I don't know. I can give you the purchase order number is P2555063. And then P2555040 is the same thing, has benefits charged for the quarter. I'm not aware of staff that we, as our district, take care of.
No, I mean, with the
So,
the buyback, some of that buyback stuff could be for cord, which is weird that it wouldn't be all encompassing. That's the part I don't know why there'd be a separate Department of Labor thing on it. But his salary is coming through the SU now, so that would be one potential thing that could be in a buyback or a pay or bill back. I'm sorry,
okay.
but I don't know about the Department of Labor thing. Again, that'd be a Heidi question.
All right. So, looks like Daniel dropped off here. He's traveling, so he's going to be in and out. Howie, have you gotten a chance to really look over the pay orders and
No,
how do you feel? This is an awful lot of money. I don't want to put anything behind, and I don't know how to break this up. I wish Heidi was here to say, let's get some of it done and get the questions answered, because some of this stuff I'm just not clear on. And it's a 200,000, what Bob said earlier.
I just got in last night and I haven't looked at them. So if you haven't looked at them and I haven't looked at, what's the deadline for approving them?
Well, so
Yeah, there's
yeah, I mean,
a lot
that's
of
a good
tuition in
question.
here.
Yeah,
So
as
we
long
need
as
to get
bills are
that.
due. But I mean, it could worst case scenario is you guys could have a special meeting just to do pay orders and get some questions answered. Wouldn't be a long one. Just bring in Heidi, bring in Greg to talk through some of the particulars, and then
I would like to do that
Okay,
because
special
I'm
meeting.
concerned, that since we're not operating the school, there's a lot of vestigial bills that we may be paying unnecessarily. At this point in time, we need to look at everything because, yeah, the nature of that building has changed drastically. Maybe we can piggyback on the copper line at the town office and just get rid of the copper line and have our alarm run through that. If it's, if we're talking a couple $100 a month to maintain just an alarm line, we need to, get a hard look at it. So yeah,
So, do you have any idea? I know Dan's not here, Howie, what your schedule would be like for when we could schedule that meeting?
I'm wide open until the 23rd of February. And I'm going.
Okay, so,
Let me check my calendar again. Okay, yep. I'm going to be gone 23rd through March 2nd, gone for 1 week.
well, I'm thinking like next week. I don't want to push this out. These are bills, so,
Anytime next week is good. Whatever
okay.
works.
Is Thursday, Bob, at 4 when we would generally have a meeting slot, or is there something else that might be going on at that time that would make them unavailable?
I'm texting them both right now to explain what's happening to see if they're able. So that'd be the 27th. Is that right?
Pull my calendar up here.
No,
Not the 27th, one before
20th.
that. 20th.
All right. Well, why don't I come back to you when I put that on hold, move on. I'll let you know what I hear from them in a text here.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Perfect.
so anxious. If your week is fairly open, my week is completely open and it goes by when they can show up and answer our questions.
Yeah, I'm pretty flexible as well. I wish Daniel was able to be on with us here
I think he's pretty flexible too. He's working from home, so
yeah, but he's
let's
still,
find out. Let's find out when.
he's still working, so it's tough to juggle sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
So, Greg
Yeah.
hopped on. Hi, Greg.
Greg, can you hear us?
Here's Dan.
And Dan's back. All right.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
You and Greg Frost joined. I was going over the pay orders and had some questions, and Bob was texting Greg and Heidi, I believe, and Greg was able to hop on. So hello, Greg.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, perfect.
They have
Happy
some
New
questions
Year.
about some of the water testing, the fire panel and the copper line, and maybe some other bills that they have. You won't be able to answer necessarily the billing side of it, but maybe describe when she tells you who the vendor is, why they're there and what the need is, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So granted, we have a lot of bills that come through, which is the phone, and from what Bob was explaining, is connected to the fire panel.
Yeah, you have to have that. It's a copper wire. We've actually turned it over to cellular, which that will go away. I need to call and open up an account with them. So,
Oh, so the panel was usable with cellular then.
yep.
Oh, okay, all right.
It
So
just
it is- so it
just
is
took
cellular.
forever and ever and ever to get the right person there to do it. It was done like a week ago, I believe.
Oh, awesome.
All right, so the
Okay.
copper could be shut down now. Good.
So that will see reflected significantly with bills through them because different
Correct. Yeah, because they're
maintenance.
killing us for copper lines. Yeah, we've been trying to get everybody over to cellular because the copper lines are expensive. Yep.
Okay. And
Dropped it at my house.
then the other one was oh my goodness. I had to flip back and forth through the pile here, Greg. So you got to bear
You're
with
okay.
me.
You're okay. H2O guy.
What's that?
H2O guy. Is that it?
Yes, the H2O guy. Thank you. So there's
He's the
a
water
invoice.
operator. So
Yep,
remember, we could either put the building into dormant, which then when someone else went to reuse it for something would have been pretty costly, or we had to continue to do our quarterly samplings and our monthly meter readings. So we've been doing that.
And that is, yes. And then is different from the Green Mountain backflow testing and repair.
Correct. Yep. Every year you have a backflow preventer on between your boiler and your hot water system that wouldn't allow the boiler water to go back into the domestic water, and that has to be tested every year. Yep.
Okay. And then I think it was the H2O guy, and maybe you know this, and maybe you don't, Greg, but there seemed to be a lapse in when like the invoice came and when we're like, we're paying it now. Is
Yeah.
it typical that they kind of just wait and submit the invoice, or are we somehow not doing?
No, Ian does it quarterly anyways, so you're
Okay.
okay. He
Okay.
hasn't really. He's pretty easygoing. Yeah.
Okay.
You will see another bill next month. I had to order some lead water sampling bottles. So every whatever number of years, I think it's every 3 or 5, you have to do a first draw and a flush draw of all your faucets that somebody could potentially drink out of. So I ordered yours. I think it was just 8 of them. They're going to get delivered to Central, and then I'll do the sampling probably over February break and get it mailed back to the state. So
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
Greg, will that
Yep.
go away once the building is no longer owned by the district?
correct. That would be whoever, as long as it's a public water system, they would still need to have a water operator and they would still need to do that. I don't think it's just a school thing.
Gotcha.
So what we had kind of led to, Greg, was there's a lot of questions that we wanted to get answered, and we this is billing, so we want to make sure we're paying the bills. But we were talking about having a special meeting to go over just the bills with questions, and then exactly like that kind of information of once the building is transferred, however that's transferred, what are we able to like probably get from information from you of what kind of carries over, what would stop.
Yeah, for
what
sure.
your schedule would look like to have a meeting like that, because we're trying to be pretty flexible. So I know you're a
let me
busy
know.
fella as well.
You just let me know and I'll try to get there and be able to answer questions so that your community feels good about knowing what they would be signing up for, right?
Yes.
Um,
So perfect. Okay. So we'll schedule that.
Okay.
We're looking to next week. But we also want to make sure we have Heidi available as well, so that we can make sure we're clear on.
Yeah, as soon as I hear back from her, Abby, I'll shoot you an email and just let you know what her availability is. But
Perfect. And so with that, we can move on. The survey results. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see it? Are you able to see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, I'm seeing head nods.
I see.
Okay, so these are just questions that were presented and emailed out to families in Windham. And as we go through, and I'll just show the information, this is just really to let people know what responses we got to some of these questions. But we didn't, from what it seems like, and I'll get to it a little bit later down, but we didn't really seem to get too many responses from families that have students at Townsend Elementary. So I will likely tweak this and resend again. And Bob, I don't know if there's a way we can have the principal again forward it on. But this way families can participate and let us know and give us feedback. So how satisfied are you with your child's current schooling option? Very satisfied, pretty satisfied, reasonably happy with Leland and Gray. The Windham Elementary is a lost treasure, neutral, very satisfied, could be better due to our own doing, great and satisfied. What factors influenced your decision to choose this type of schooling for your child? Lack of opportunity at WES. My kid needs extra help and his school could provide it. School size and location, the sad closure of WES, both work and no choice for middle school and high school. Curriculum, student to teacher ratios, extracurricular offerings, quality of staff and school resources. WES closing and TES being far and inconvenient, time and distance of travel, or our local school closed and I was concerned about the options available. Has the transition to the school choice model impacted your child's academic performance? Same school, so no change to academic performance. Hasn't affected them, but it's been pretty been at the same school all along, but it saved us $20,000, which is pretty huge. Easy transition. They're doing really well. Children are thriving academically, socially, and mentally. We are new to kindergarten this year, so there is no impact. Math seems to have declined, wishing for more support. And children are thriving, but miss their community friends. So that's for that question. What, if any, challenges have you faced since the transition? None. The loss of community at WES has been very hard. Though they're making friends and participating nicely at Leland and Gray, they report more negative social behaviors in Leland and Gray. Not surprising since there are far more teens and preteens there. This person wrote, teaching my children that what they endured in Windham is not normal and instilling confidence in them that was ruined there. Community connection and friends for our kid and ourselves, no school locally, and less social with other kids in the community. So these are challenges that people are stating they've faced. Aspects of school choice model you feel have been most beneficial. Expanded opportunities, that they're not paying $20,000 out of pocket. The ability to pick a school based on their family needs. Choice has not been a factor for that person. My children being able to attend single grade classrooms and being around children their own age. And ability to choose what school we feel best meets our child's needs and the opportunity to go to an independent school. And one person wrote that they are not happy about not having a local school. What areas do you feel need improvement in terms of school district support for your chosen schooling option? How can our school district better support students and families? Transportation options. And this one says, perhaps better discipline structures with students who are disruptive and whose behavior is at least on the border of bullying. It could be that all the structures are in place and that things will be addressed more effectively over time, as our student has reported misbehaviors appropriately several times. School choice for all grades. I wish school board meetings would focus on embracing unity in our town and restoring a connected parental group as our town has become so divided in recent years. I agree with whoever had made that comment. That's very true. I feel like I have so many answers, none of which they're able to articulate. Curriculum support and outreach, funding to help with curriculum development. So that's some feedback for the board members to consider. Which option has worked best? So considering this is only a polling of people who took the survey, right? So I don't believe that this data is accurate since we know we have a large number of students at Townsend. So this is just reflective of the families that took the survey. And how do you feel about the quality of education that your child receives at Townsend Elementary? They're doing really well academically. Experience there was not dynamic, but was adequate. Leland and Gray seems a bit more dynamic. How satisfied are you with the transportation services provided by the district? So not a lot of feedback. Now, there, as you can see, that people didn't necessarily answer this because otherwise it would give us all the answers. So no news is bad news, I guess, or good. No news is good news. Do you feel your child's school is meeting their social and emotional needs? Yes. Leland Gray is working at this and is supportive of parental efforts to address ongoing needs. So that's good. Are there specific resources or support services you feel are lacking? Nope. So that's good.
Abby, just to give you a quick pause, Heidi has just joined us, so you might be able to
awesome.
avoid a special meeting. I don't know if you want to pause this and come back to it, or what you want to do.
Well, we're almost done, and
Okay.
I can hop through this pretty quickly here. So, are there any concerns that you're aware of current budgeting and the consolidations discussions going on in your current public school? They're aware, not currently concerned, and they are concerned about potential increase in class size. How do you feel about the quality of education that your child receives? Excellent, good, very satisfied. So that's wonderful. How do you manage transportation? Shared responsibility between parents. They drive or carpool. This person participates in a carpool where a Windham parent drives. Other children attend preschool that is the opposite direction of the kindergartner school, so it can be challenging when both need to be picked up at the same time if one of the parents is working. That may be something that we could see as well moving forward with different plans that our education system works out here that families could find challenging. Are you aware that our school district provides a transportation stipend upon request for independent private school families? Not aware. Process seems very opaque. Asked for a stipend and were denied by the school board. I don't recall denying anyone, so that was interesting feedback. And then the next one, the person was so upset they felt the need to use profanity, which I won't read. I don't think you gave the stipend to anybody. So clearly we are going to have a conversation about what is going on with the stipends and where we're at with that. Community members shouldn't be that upset regarding that. So do you feel your child's school is meeting their social emotional needs? Yes, that's good feedback. Nothing is specific resources or support services they feel are lacking. The curriculum people are using, great, good, confident. What resources or support services from our school district, if any, have you found helpful in your journey? Borrowing a Chromebook, going on field trips, and JISP. There are none. And how do I get my students to take assessment tests? So that would be information we'd have to inquire about because I don't know. How satisfied are you with the balance between academic learning and social opportunities for your child? Some are happy, not satisfied, and okay. And are there additional resources or support services you would like our school district to provide for home study families? Nope, probably organized local enrichment and socialization and some funding. So this was just, where's my stop sharing button here? Back to my big pile of paper here. So we're going to go backwards to the financials.
You may be having some difficulties. She had a different computer installed, and she just texted that she might not be able to have a microphone. So let's see, Heidi, are you able to talk to us or?
Yeah, there was a cord that I didn't know what it went to when I changed it over for her the other day, and now I know what it went to. My bad. However, her desk is way more organized. Okay.
Well, that's something.
She has like the two monitors, and we put it up on like a stand thing. It worked out great. And I was like, I don't know why that monitor had two cords to it. And as soon as she said it, I was like, oh, I bet that's what that other cord did. It's like, shoot, I'm sorry. So
Well, if we can't hear her,
I think she'll just jump on a phone or something. I mean, I'm on my phone.
oh, Bob's, I think, got the phone there. So, back to the question. So the assessments, there were so many pages I had to double side them, which I'm not a fan of. So I guess I can go backwards to the employee invoice for the Department of Labor and what that's about, if she has any insight on that.
Cleanup of the quarters after the payments for cord. We didn't think we had to pay anything, but the state did send us saying there's cleanup from 24 that we needed to pay.
Did you follow?
Okay. I think so. There's cleanup from 24 that we needed to pay for cord.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what that is. Give me a second here. Okay, so that explains that piece.
There's some bill backs, Abby, you were asked about, I think.
Yes, the bill backs. What are all the bill backs for? If we could get some more clarification on that.
Sure. A couple months of bill backs. I know that cord gets billed back. Let me just flip to what I have in front of me.
Where did it go? There we go.
Sorry, just 1 second. Okay, I'm making progress here. So we have some telephone, Granite telephone. We have the student transportation. And we have an audit. And we have the January bill backs. So the student transportation is cord, and so that's for each month. He took some training, bus, maybe it was a bus certification, and otherwise it's phone bill.
Okay.
So just to clarify what you're saying, Heidi, is all the bill backs are either transportation or phone bill related?
Yes, either have to do with cord, Scott, or they have to do with the Granite communications.
Okay, so it's very unclear with what we're looking at. Is there a different way that we could see that so that
So I think there's an attachment to each purchase order that you see in Doc Hub.
Yes, and I'm at the school, and so I had to print it, and it's double-sided, and I've been flipping back and forth, so you got to bear with me. I probably should have put it in a binder. And then Greg explained the H2O guy submits his thing like quarterly, so that makes sense to me for that. Greg explained that one. So there's the January bill back.
And there was some
On the back of that shows the assessments for the direct and indirect services to students.
Correct. Your assessments we bill quarterly, but we had missed the second. Wait, no, we have the third. It's just the third assessment that you're paying this month, and then there's a couple months of bill backs.
And Heidi, what is that assessment for? Is that special ed services?
In the one, Bob, it's the super's office and the special ed and the ECSE.
So it's all the ones that Windham is responsible for billed out in a quarterly manner.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. No technology.
No technology, no food service.
Service.
Resident students. Um,
What do you mean, Abby, by resident students?
it says she removed it, but there was a amount in there for resident students. Am I
So
reading that right? No, food services. I'm sorry. It's such a small font. It is the food services removed. Because I was like, why do we? Okay. So Daniel or Howie, do you have any questions for Heidi since she's here?
No, because I can't see these pay orders. Were they emailed to us? I'm been looking for them like crazy while you're going through them.
Heidi, do we know if Howie is on the list to get
let
those?
me ask.
Yeah, I think I brought that up a couple of meetings ago, but I haven't seen Howie on any of the DocuSigns. So I
Yeah,
think he needs to be set up.
so yeah, that's why I don't have any questions. I haven't seen these pay orders.
Can you send it with 3 people? Oh, yeah. Okay, we're gonna add. I'm sorry, somehow it hasn't been being sent to Howie, so we will add him. Can you add him after the fact? Like send this to him? No. Okay, Howie, she's gonna send it to you separately this month,
Mhm.
and then next
Okay.
month we'll have you added.
Okay.
And so, but I mean, I know you guys want to all see it, but from a legal perspective, they need 2 to see it, and then they need a motion to approve it. Is that what we're looking the process?
Yes. So pay excuse me. It is pay order number.
I mean, if they look good to you guys, I'm fine with them, but I would like to see them.
Can you spell your last name? I just am trying to give an email address to Sue.
IRES. So my email address is HIRES at wyndhamcentralboard.org.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. So
Yeah, I don't see any issues, Abby, other than what
Okay.
you already addressed with them.
okay, so the pay order number is, before I dig my pile out. Wasn't sure if Heidi knew off the top of her head.
Do you guys want the total amount? Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, I'm trying to make the motion, so I need the pay order and the number.
Okay, the pay. And the amount is $201,125.
And the pay order number?
9.
9, okay. I move to approve pay order 9 in the amount of $201,100.25. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, other than that, Howie's gonna get added so that future pay orders, Howie, you should have everything all set, okay?
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I'm going to abstain just because it'll pass anyway.
All right, so Abigail Pelton for roll call vote, aye. Dan Roth? You're an aye for roll call vote?
Oh, yeah, I said aye.
Okay, and then Howie, you're abstain, and that's noted. Motion still carries, and we can move on. So,
I'm going to let Heidi go then. And
yes, Heidi, please,
Greg,
and
do you have
thank
any other
you.
questions for Greg, or do you want to let him go?
No, and Greg can go too. You guys stay safe and
Hey,
warm.
thanks, Heidi.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Greg.
guys. Okay, and then superintendent's report. Bob, you're up.
All right. So I guess the quick story is that the SU did approve the budget again after reopening it. There were reductions in the MTSS budget for one administrative position, which is
What does MTSS stand for? Just
it's the multi-tier system of support. It's basically the system of instruction, if you think of it that way. If you think about it from the standpoint of like we offer instruction in every classroom, what they call universal instruction. And then most kids are supposed to sort of get it after the universal instruction. But if certain students don't get it, then there's what they call tier two instruction, which is like an intervention block. And then if students still need assistance after that intervention block, they can get referred to for special education services. Um, and so that's that system. When you think about that from an academic standpoint, from a behavioral standpoint, and from a social emotional learning standpoint, that is the MTSS system. So it's just fancy lingo, really, to talk about how we teach these days. What's the structure of how instruction happens, and how we help kids who need help, so that every kid gets what they need. So we had a little bit of a reorganization with that at the SU level, which resulted in one less administrator. And that was a result of an audit that I had done by an outside person to look at our systems across the entire SU, all the buildings, and our internal operations at the SU office. And that was part of the recommendation, was this reorg and reduction. So we moved forward with that, and the board approved that as well. And then I guess the only other real news when you got my
Wait,
February.
if there was, I thought there was a position was added. You say that a position was removed?
Well, there was a total of 5 positions that are now going to be 4. And yes, there's 2 of them that are really new, and a couple that went away, and this one that went away completely. So there's some restructuring of some, but one that actually just went away completely.
Okay, what went away completely?
I was the assistant director of student services, or in what we used to be known as a special education office.
So that position went away and a new position was added. And what is the position that went away, a lower paid position than the position that was added, or a higher paid position?
The position that went away. So there's actually, the curriculum coordinator position went away, and the equity coordinator position also went away. And those 3 positions are replaced by 2. One is the executive director of MTSS, and then the special ed, and then curriculum would go underneath that person in a hierarchy. And then the other new position, or new formed position, is the director of social emotional learning and equity and wellness. And that position is new, but in essence, kind of going from what the equity coordinator position was. So like, you took 5 positions, shuffled them around, turned it into 4, no new money. Was part of that. In fact, a savings entirely of that position that went away. So it's actually a reduction of 146,000 and change, which was salary and benefits for that position.
Thank you.
Yep. And then of course, Windham gets a savings on that, but so your budget includes an assessment for the original SU budget. So you won't be charged the full amount of that assessment when you actually get the billing next year. But I mean, it's a very small amount because of what your percentage of the student body is. You know what I mean? So it's not a lot of money, but you will get billed less for that, which is a good savings for you guys for next year as well. Any other questions about that, or does that help?
Thank you.
All right, no worries. And the only other thing, just to kind of give you guys, I've been following the the governor's restructuring proposal, and what the legislature's how they're handling that, and what they're doing around that, and so on and so forth. There's a legislative group of local legislators. One is the senator from Windham County, Senator Rashid, who's in the Senate Ed Committee. Emily Long, who is, as you know, West River and SU board member, who's also in the House Ed Committee. And then Emily Kornheiser, who is in Ways and Means, and she's Brattleboro rep. And so those 3 have asked all the regional superintendents to get together every other week and just kind of check in. They can ask us questions of what our needs are. We can go back and forth. So we're doing that with them, which is just a good way to keep both sides informed of what's going on as they begin to explore things. One of the big ones, I think I mentioned this to you guys before, is choice. There's a lot of conversation on what choice will look like under this new proposal, whether there'll be an expansion of choice or not. It depends on which schools exist, I guess, at the end of their pitch. You guys are tied currently to Leland and Gray, but if Leland and Gray doesn't exist, then you probably have some flexibility, would be my guess. But it's a lot of unknown, and this could be, 5 to 7 to 10 years out. Nobody really seems to know that. I was talking to Dan before the meeting started, and what you saw from the governor was 5 districts, and what I think, and a lot of people are on the same page. It's not it's not my original thought, I'll say, that was sort of an opening salvo, that there'll probably be some negotiation, because the governor can't create this. He can only propose it. The legislature has to create it. And so, that's something we'll see where they end up. But I would doubt, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet that there'll be five at the end. There'll be some bigger number than five, but probably less than 52 or whatever we're at now. So something probably, more in the middle. So that's sort of the conversation there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that came out of that, that would be of particular interest to you guys. I don't know. I guess if you have any questions about that, I'm just letting you know I'm trying to stay in the loop as much as I can about that and report out to boards whenever I hear, so that you guys can think about what that might mean for you and think about the implications and so on and so forth. So, oh, I know what the other one was. I'm sorry. The last thing was the federal grants that have been frozen, and some programming that have been frozen from the federal government, via these executive orders. And so there's a lot of, as you know, some lawsuits that are challenging some of the stuff already. But one of the things that is being discussed, of course, is the Department of Education and whether or not how that could potentially impact special education funding, what little they give us, but special education funding nonetheless. The food program, federal dollars that come through that, which again doesn't affect you guys as non-operating, but affects your kids, and the cost of what it would cost to do business for kids. And there's also a conversation at the state level about getting rid of the universal meals, which again will be passed on to the local tax dollars to pay for the meals, or to go back to the free reduced process. And the other thing I was going to mention is that there's a lot of conversation. Some of the districts in the SU have explored the electric school bus grant, and that's one of the ones that's been paused. So, we don't know what's going to happen with that. I've been in touch with Bernie's office this morning, talking to them about some strategy for that. But River Valleys is the one that is in the midst of electric bus order. So, anyways, just we don't know how those are all going to play itself out. Title money is also the other one that we use a lot. And some of that fund, a lot of that funds most of that funds direct services to kids through like the academic support teachers that are dispersed throughout the districts. And a little bit is used internally for admin costs. But the title money, the IDEA B money, which is the special education money, lunch program, those are the big ones that I think we're worried about federally, and we'll just keep following along and see what happens. So I'll give you what I hear at the time. I think your VSBA updates are also probably those regular weekly emails you get, have some updates there. And I would encourage you guys to read those as well and just stay up to date, see what the impact will be. But that's all I got.
Crystal, I see that your hand is raised, so go ahead. It's Crystal Corview.
Yep. So it's not really a question for Bob, more of a comment. Because, I have two boys that are just getting ready to go into Leland and Gray. So, I have a lot of concern that, are we going to be in Leland and Gray for 3 years and then we're getting moved to Brattleboro? I know you have no control over this, but, these are the kinds of questions that I have. For me, I don't care where my kids go to school as long as they're educated. And I've prepared them that they could end up in Brattleboro, but it's just...
That's a heck of a morning routine.
Preparing for this transition or uprooting is a little stressful. And I've already taken steps to kind of change my geography for my job.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns.
Wow.
And I think that the best people can do is, if you have concerns, express them to your legislators. And that's really all you can do at this point. Like you said, we're not driving the boat at this point. So
Thank you, Crystal.
Chris, I almost brought up your correspondence early on, but Bob's right. VSBA does a good job of keeping us updated, and we're kind of along for the ride. Same for the SU. I would hope that it's not going to be 5 districts. I would hope that they divide, I don't know, 50 or 100 different districts into a higher number than that, but the impact we do not know, and we'll keep watching it and provide updates when we can.
It's a scary time for families, and I'm sure a scary time for teachers and students. So we're all in it together, and by golly, we'll be part of it somehow here. So I noticed, so Crystal and Michael, you're both came in a little bit later, so there wasn't public comment. I didn't know if either one of you may have had something you would have liked to say during public comment, and if so, I'd like to give you the opportunity.
Nope, just joined to see what Bob would have to say about what's happening at the state level.
Okay, thank you. Michael Pelton?
I got nothing as of yet. Thank you, though.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Bob, were you even finished? Because you are done. Okay. So, WCSU full board alternates. So when Howie was on vacation, I think Dan was busy. I was trying to attend the full board meeting. I actually kind of made a fool of myself the other night because I mixed up my meetings between West River and full board. But regardless, I want to make sure that if something happens where we have representative away, then the alternative is away, but one of the three members of our board is available, that we could still be there to represent, our district. So currently it's set as Howie, you are the representative. Daniel, you're the alternate.
Correct.
Right?
We vote you in as an alternate?
Is that's what my question would be, is can we make a motion to have maybe as a second alternate?
I move to elect Abigail Pelton as the second alternate.
A second.
Awesome. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion carries. So going forward, if there's any kind of hiccup and there's voting or whatnot, one of us in some capacity will be able to be there. So perfect. Thank you guys for that. And there were no changes to the agenda. So we have to do the superintendent evaluation, which we will do in executive session. So other than that, and we can put everybody in the waiting room, and then we're going to be adjourning afterwards. So tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So for your commercialized holiday, show your love.
Happy
Awesome. And so with that, I will move to go into executive session for the purpose of evaluating the superintendent under 1 VSA 313A3. All right. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah, hold on. It is 5:35. The board has exited executive session. No action will be taken. That was superintendent evaluations that's been completed. And I believe I heard Howie say there was a motion to
Move
adjourn.
to adjourn.
All right. So it is 5:35. I second. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. Our meeting is adjourned at 5:35. Jan, thank you again.